Sunday afternoon.
Welcome to the A Voice from the Dark meet the cast panel. Let's just very quickly run down the line so people know who the hell we all are. Starting on this end.
Oh, we're starting with me? I'm Tom, using Evil Genius White. I did not play any parts in this movie. I helped a little bit with the writing, and I did the music.
Hi, I'm Nick Merlo, and I play Bargain Boy. Nash, I do radio dead air, and all sorts of other stuff, and reviews, and fantasy stuff, and whatnot. He broke me into this nonsense.
I'm Linkara, I played Linkara. I also wrote it.
But he only played Linkara.
Exactly.
That's very unusual.
Rare. I'm Elisa Hansen. I played the Maven of the Eventide.
I'm Dominic Noble. I play Rock Review's best friend.
I'm Kaluna. I played myself. And I helped a little bit with some of the audio mixing.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm Evangelist on the internet, and I did not play Evangelist in this thing. I played the benevolent Dr. Vivisan, the true hero of the piece, who was unjustly shot in the back by some kind of backstabbing coward. Panels, and deal with that.
Hi, I'm the Omega Geek, and I have a psychology nonfiction show called Psych Media, and I portrayed a minion of a certain someone.
I'm Demon Hagen, and I'm apologetic for trying to kill everyone.
Are you really?
You actually killed me.
Well, it was a bad guy. To you, you're dead. I can bring you back and then kill you again.
So yeah, a lot of surprises in the Q&A asking about the writing and performing and all that jazz. So just quick history of how this all came about. I don't know if you guys heard, but we used to be on this website.
Used to be also right there.
And every year they would, and almost every year they would do this anniversary movie where they would get like 20 people together and have a little adventure. And it was fun and sometimes not so fun. Sometimes really stupid, but a lot of fans really loved it, and most of the contributors really enjoyed doing them. So when that site reached its 10th anniversary, they were going to bring everyone together for one more of these. Everyone, 10 people, which. Well, on one hand, one of the complaints about those movies was there's too many people, we can't keep track of everyone, and there's not a lot of room for them to shine. On the other hand, a lot of people who never got a chance to be in those still didn't get a chance to be in them. So after things went down and almost everyone left the site, a lot of people were bummed that they still never got a chance to be in it. So a compatriot of ours by the name of Leslie Rice, also known as the Fear Fan or Terror Obscura, he was like, well, why don't we just do something on our own? I have experience doing audio dramas and audio work, so he started organizing everyone into this project, and he collaborated with me on a general outline for a story. And unfortunately, personal life stuff started getting in the way. Originally, I was not going to write the script. I did not want to write the script because I was doing my 10th anniversary at the time. I was like, I have no time to write some big project with like 20-some people in there. I don't know what to do with that. So he was working on it, but it was really taking him a while. The personal stuff started really taking a toll on him. So I volunteered to start handle some of it, and then later on taking over the entire thing. And it was okay. But by the time I was ready to write the entire thing, I was done with my 10th anniversary stuff. I had time to work on it again. So I took charge of that, and here we are. And for some reason, these people agreed to work with me.
It's the blackmail.
I didn't have to do any editing, so it was pretty
Did you offer them celery?
Actually, quick shout out on the editing crunch on this thing. Speaking as someone who does a lot of editing, freelance, and etc., the speed at which this was done, which I don't think is entirely apparent in the finished thing, is ridiculous. The speed at which this was done.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I actually learned a bunch of whole new tricks working on this project, like just entirely new ways of using Premiere and Audition that I had never actually considered before. Thanks to just, okay, I need to speed up the process of this. How can I do this? Oh, hey, there's this tool, there's this thing here that'll work. And that especially helped in the final part, which was, of course, double length.
That you got done like quicker than the other parts?
At that point, he knew what he was doing.
At that part, I knew what I was doing. And yet, that was the one that came out late.
Yeah.
You didn't up on sleep for about 3 days.
That's
No,
That's normal.
I just minimized sleep.
That's you know his sleep schedule.
Jason.
The I finished the message was at like 4:30 in the morning.
For you,
Yeah, for us, it wasn't really.
it was still Saturday on the East Coast when I premiered the episode.
Technically wasn't late.
So it was not technically late. So anyway, do you want to open up the floor to questions?
Does anyone have any questions?
There's one there.
Evangelist, where are you from?
Hi, I'm from Toronto, Ontario. I actually just took a bus here. I'm local! Local shouts out! I take a bus here because I feel there's people here I don't get to see anywhere else, and I feel weird if I'm an hour away going like, oh, I'm gonna go to Holy Chuck instead and have a burger by myself.
Go to the Works, it's much better.
I like the Works. Okay, I don't mean to call it. The Works is like a really good go-to. Holy Chuck is a good fancy go-to.
And then this became the entire panel.
Go find it. If you want the whole spiel on Holy Chuck.
Burger things.
Holy Chuck's better than Burger Priest. I'm just gonna say that on the record. And
Yeah, food
You
good.
can get a
service
burger
late.
with 3 grilled cheese sandwiches as
that's my birthday cake. That's my big birthday cake.
I just quickly want to say, a lot of the other producers who couldn't come, I just wanted to give a special shout out to Lehman Kessler.
Yes.
The voice of
Lovecraft. He was so good in this, and I just want to mention, he's just such a good performer, and I enjoyed every scene he was in.
I felt really fortunate to be in the Skype recording group.
Yeah.
I got to hear it all happen live.
If you don't know his show, he's a H.P. Lovecraft impersonator, but in a less racist way.
I believe he's not here because he's doing Lovecraft live at the George R.R. Martin Theater.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, he hangs out with Martin all the time. Which is very interesting.
The what theater? It's 2019, get with the program. R.R. Martin Theater? He owns it, as far as I know.
Where is that?
I can't remember, it's in America.
If I owned a theater, I would name it after myself.
A lot of people going to school to do it.
Yeah. Yes.
I guess this is just for the whole cast jump question. You guys, did you guys have like a favorite scene that you guys worked on?
I mean,
My favorite bit was the combat at the end, because Lucia said, just make like grunting and shouting noises. Oh, ow.
I got.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. By the way, the voices of the zombies was everybody else. Because why hire a bunch of new people when I already got these people and you can't hear them and understand them anyway?
Be more zombie. No, you gotta slow it down. Be a little be more zombie. Okay.
That was actually a kind of a thing that happened because like one or two people were like, kind of like just going like, it was like it doesn't sound. I can still tell it's you. Just
Did
not pass the zombie audition.
Also, everyone speak in unison on voice over IP.
Yeah, that's it. No.
We did our recording. It was night in Greenwich Mean Time. We're over in Northern Ireland, and we have a 1-bedroom flat, and we did it off of my PC. And so I know that like everyone has an idea of like how this scene looks in a room and stuff like that. We were literally standing in front of my computer against a wall, being like, "What? Huh? No, because yeah." And then me occasionally shouting at him, "Would you shut up? They're gonna call the cops on us." But Bobby would yell, "I don't care. We're gonna get the police. Go. Would you stop?"
I know, like, we recorded our scenes with the groups that we ended up with, and there was a lot of, like, Walla, like, the background chatter, And Suede and I, for some reason, felt the need to have an entire storyline that's just in the background noise that you can't hear. That's about me trying to steal his sword. So that was pretty good. No one can hear it because it's all like layered on top of everything, but I think that was the benefit of recording with a small group, was getting to, you know, bounce off of one another and get
People
to
are
do
going to
some.
start dissecting the thing and try and find it.
I mean, you can try and find it. It's
Like
in
playing
there.
the record backwards.
Feel free. Yeah, like he makes a joke because he always carries around a katana, and Dom didn't bring any swords for this. So like I just kept making jokes about trying to steal it.
I might include some of those bits when there's going to be a DVD of this eventually. Exactly. No, but the thing is, we're going to include on that bloopers.
Yes.
I'm hoping to do a prequel, the night at Scarsdale Manor. Basically, what happened the final night before Scarsdale and his assistant fled the house. Maybe a behind-the-scenes thing where we like interview people and ask, you know, really interesting, thoughtful questions about this story about a bunch of video producers fighting a demon.
I had to really get into character for this. It's hard.
So yeah, stuff like that, and yeah, I would probably include the constant attempts between you two to try to steal the sword away.
And Yomar's being the like best comedic timing person ever.
Yeah.
Like his delivery is so friggin' good. There were a lot of times we had to re-record just because Suede and I would keep laughing every time he would open his mouth.
Your recording session was very giggly.
We were
Like Suede and Ryan were just constantly laughing all the time.
Yomar's is like I'm friends with him and I've hung out with him before, but when he is like doing his Yomar's personality, like he always gets it every single time, and he always changes it ever so slightly. So when I'm like ready and trying to expect it, he always does something completely different. It totally throws us off.
We have just one person asking about the extra scene. What are other people's favorite scenes?
Do you have a favorite
Tom,
scene?
what was the favorite scene you were in?
Many scenes.
Tom, I know you mentioned.
Tom, that's a bad answer.
I have limited range as an actor, and I suggested some characters who I could play, and I'm like, oh, that one's already taken. All right.
I pitched a few people to you.
Yeah, but I don't think I would be good at those.
None of us were good at it.
I did. So what was your favorite music to write?
Except for, there's only one.
What was it?
What was it? Tom wrote the intro and ending musics, which he labeled Scarsdale's Lament. What was the inspiration for as you were working on it? What was really the thing that was getting you hyped to work on it?
My inspiration was 3 a.m. and I had to come up with a title.
You need some music, not the name.
What is my entire college career?
It was the music, not the name.
What's
Your inspiration for working
The
on it.
music itself, not the name.
It's kind of hard to describe the creative process that went into it, because it was basically, it kind of came together really quickly, and it was mostly like I just strung together a bunch of scary noises, and then I actually kind of need like a melody to tie this together, and I don't know, it just all came together.
Pretty sure that's exactly how John Carpenter does it. So.
Gordon, what was your favorite scene?
I gotta say, I am partial to the whenever everybody has to talk at once. Because I had both the opportunity, especially when we're fighting, the opportunity to yell out every single, like, Kingdom Hearts, yeah, it's over! An opportunity to do that, and then also to do, ho, ha, dodge, carry, thrust! So that was pretty funny.
So all the stuff no one can hear.
It was always so damn weird editing together all the group yelling because everyone was ranting at each other. Because of course, since you can't actually hear what individual people are saying, it was okay for anyone to say anything. So sometimes, Dina was just like, really? Come on. Why'd you do that? Or for Nella, it was, I wasn't even on the side. I was a sidekick.
Aside from that, it was just the monologue I had in there was pretty was pretty partial to that as well. Because I'm just a very random person. But at the same time, I also really liked the writing on that as well. So I really wanted to nail that down. But yeah, Nash, how about you?
All of them, because while we were working on this, I had to wear pants.
My favorite scene involving Nash is when halfway through a night he said, Grady, shut up!
Yeah, while we were recording our bit, my cat came in and started, hi! Shut up! It's like in the middle of takes and the cat's going, ah!
Oh, it was not just that. You were recording this, and some asshole on the street was revving their engine.
That's right, there was a freaking guy on my street with a motorcycle like,
He can save us from the monster. Motorbike that help.
Nash, you were in the same group.
Yeah.
So we just got like our group.
Yeah.
Who else was in that?
You had Sean and Luke.
Your best
Best
friend.
Best friend.
Bestest
I'm
buddy.
kind of glad we finished off that storyline in that, because it was getting a bit much even for me. I was like, I'll have to stalk Luke again today. Okay. How do I make this creepy but not too creepy?
So the resolution of your story arc?
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's finished now, so me and Luke can be openly friends without it being weird.
Evil!
My favorite scene was, of course, the time warp.
Yeah.
I had so much fun. I did like 10 different takes of singing. Everyone got their lines in perfectly. Kaluna with the solo.
Thanks. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, I have the highest voice out of everybody.
I had this
I'm doing
idea.
Columbia.
and then YouTube wasn't having it.
No, it's still my favorite because even regardless of it taking in the revenue, I knew that would probably happen anyway when I decided to do this. Behind the scenes writing thing, Leslie actually rejected the time warp idea originally.
Oh, really?
That was not. I think we were just supposed to create when we were first coming up with the outline of this. I can't remember what his objection was, but he was just like, I'm just not feeling it, and it was his project, so I wasn't going to object. His idea was actually after we had won everything, we would all sing together, "We'll Meet Again."
Oh.
It would just be like kind of a spontaneous musical moment without any kind of logical explanation behind it, other than emotionally we're together and we'll see each other again. But then I took over the project. I'm like, I'm putting this back in.
Did you arrange your personal problems, to be honest?
No!
When listening to part 6, I had this great idea, which I wish I'd thought of earlier, where have Hagen sing something from Shock Treatment. Just to screw with the others.
It was really fun watching the premiere of it on YouTube with the chat going nuts after Time Warp started. It was really, really cool.
When you're editing something down to the clock and you've had such a positive reaction to it and people have been so excited about it, I was really worried at the end. As I was nearing the end, it was like, oh God, people have been praising this for the horror element. They've been praising how dark and suspenseful it is, and now we're gonna frickin' sing the time warp. Is this just gonna snap people and be like, oh? Like, is this gonna be too stupid for them? Is this gonna be the thing that says, what's with the weird tonal shift? You just ruined the whole thing. But the fact that everyone loved it, yes! I was right, I did it, I pulled it off.
You didn't Game of Thrones this.
I'm not worried about that being too stupid. I'm talking about the Burger King haunting me. That's
Any other favorite moments, guys?
I had a great fun ad-libbing insults for a certain Minnesotan who was directing us. I do stream of consciousness insults. What was one of them? You stupid Viking facsimile. Dumbass hat-wearing Minnesotan.
There's something with the hat. I can't remember.
That was hat-having.
Hat-having, yeah.
And I'm like sitting on the couch playing magnetic balls on my phone, just kind of looking over.
One sad thing is we recorded our group together, but the audio quality, because you were using like a PlayStation mic, right?
Well, no, it was basically my PC was built by my brother-in-law's roommate, so a lot of it works until it doesn't. But it's really awesome when it works. So I had a USB headset, but it was Skype was having none of it. So I had to just use like our PlayStation headset, and it sounded okay to us, but then apparently like the quality coming through the other way was really bad, so we had to do it all again.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. But honestly, it did sound so much better when you had it. Plus, one problem we had with doing that is you only had the one headset. So you had to keep swapping between each other for lines.
Yeah, so eventually what we had to do was we recorded our stuff by ourselves using the camera we used for the show, and with the script in it. So we had it on a tripod with the computer behind it with the script, and without direction.
And you did very well!
But you'd already run through it once.
And the handy thing, I think Nash alluded to this, I can't share that experience, but I didn't have to wear a bra, so that was also for that.
Plus, it actually did give it even more ad-libs. The instrument of destruction thing, when you were talking to the voice.
Oh yeah.
That was not scripted. You ad-libbed that and people loved it.
I couldn't remember if that was an ad-lib or not.
It was.
I also was really proud and happy to not have to wear pants, and also really relieved that when I got the time zone wrong and showed up an hour late to the recording, my character wasn't until episode 3, so it actually lined up perfectly. I really liked doing this bit with Dr. Vivizen when I got to be an underling for Lehman, because if there's anyone who's going to give me orders, I'd like it to be him. He's got a good voice, and I'd like it to tell me what to do. But I was in my head, the way I was trying to do this guy is, have you ever seen this movie called The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra?
Yes!
You know,
I sleep now!
You know the guy who is playing the actor of the male alien?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how in the commentary he says that in his head he was trying to play this as though for this actor character this is the most prestigious role of his life. Yeah. And so he was going 150 million% ham.
Aliens? Us? Is this one of your Earth jokes?
So that's kind of what I was going for. So whenever I said this, I don't know how much it came through. Every time I said the voice or master, I tried to have it in like font size 80 bold. And so there's one line in there where I get to say, I think I said them consecutively, and I had to take a massive breath beforehand, because I was like, the voice, my master, and it was really fun. That opening monologue too, I really like. That's because that was the audition bit, and it's because Vivizen's just talking to himself, and I like doing that. So.
There were when Leslie was first putting everything together, he had basically he just put out a call to everyone in our respective Skype group chats, and we would try to contact every single content producer who had been on the site that we were still in contact with. Some people didn't get it. Some people said no, or they just weren't interested. Excuse me. And Vangelis was one of them. And as I was finalizing the work he had started, which had been putting everyone's group together, Vangelis kind of got left by the wayside. Otherwise, the groups would have been very uneven. So I asked him if he would be interested in playing one of the side roles instead of playing his review character, so to speak. And it was like, if you have any preference for anyone, let me know. And he sent me an audition for Dr. Vivizen. And I hired him on the spot because that voice was so phenomenal.
So he wants some behind-the-scenes info on Reviewer Vangelis. He only existed in this series of vlogs I did for like 2 years that don't exist anymore because Blip went away and I didn't want to put them up on YouTube. So I actually was writing for Leslie a whole thing when he wanted, like, just write what your character's like. And I was like, I'll just write down the Vangelis character that I wrote for a bunch of collaborative videos that never got shot, which is a weird, creepy toy man who lives in dreams. And that never actually got used. And then one thing I was thinking was, at this point, at this venture, that seems like a lot of work to throw at someone to write in. And I like playing other voices a whole lot. So it also just made more sense to me. Like doing what I call evil Malcolm McDowell, which it doesn't sound like, it's just in my head. That's what I call it. It's like a natural voice for me. I did it a whole bunch of my own YouTube stuff when I have robots yelling at each other. So I was happy that worked out, because I also was like, I really want to play this, and I don't really want to play anything else. And I don't want to play me, because then it'll just be me going like, hey everyone, how you doing?
Thank you, my creation.
Your hair smells really nice and it tastes real good. Don't worry about it. You didn't know, but it was fine. It's all still there. What's up? So I was happy to be evil and British. No offense to any British people.
Young evil Malcolm McDowell or old evil Malcolm McDowell?
I call it that because I had a video where I had a Malcolm McDowell from Heroes toy who I was using as a villain for something. And every time I did his voice, me and a friend had this sort of running gag. Every time we saw him in a bad movie, we'd be like, it's Malcolm McDowell, he's back. and it doesn't sound like him. But to us it did, because we were really tired and probably drunk. So that's just been some of my fault too. So for Vivian, I just tried to make it older, so it's like, yes, my beautiful creation. I built it out of parts and meat because the voice will like me the most, and I will be the one who survives, because that must be my motivation for wanting the universe to end, except for me.
How dead was your voice after doing that for like 2 hours?
It doesn't actually hurt that, like, I can just snap into this pretty easily, actually. And I once convinced someone I was from the UK, and I said, well, how did you possibly think that? They don't sound like this at all. I'm going to go tell some British people you said that, and they're not going to like you, right? Right?
Hey, what do you think, Tom?
What do you think?
Don't I sound exactly like your countrymen?
Maybe one that suffered a head injury.
I tried to do a Matt Berry once for a thing where I had British personality evangelists, and a friend of mine from Wales very kindly, I asked him if it was offensive, and he said, no, you just sound like an American trying to sound like Matt Berry, who's also just been hit in the head.
Beautiful word picture.
It was lovely. He maintains he didn't say the last part, but I know he did.
All right, next question.
Well, I have a question. Was I the only idiot who wore pants during this whole record?
I wore pajama pants.
I was 9 months pregnant, so.
I wore pajama pants. Does that count?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. We recorded on a Friday, so my baby was due on Monday.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I remember that. We were very quickly trying to figure out the best time to record ahead of time because we knew that your baby was due. We knew as soon as you'd have the baby, you'd be out of action for at least a month.
Just imagine the outtakes that happened during the...
We've kept that in the script.
We have to save Emma, you can't!
What would the hospital staff be saying? Like, can you please stop using the microphone? No, it's a job!
Sorry, I need to make rent.
Bottle. It doesn't say, yeah, you have to use it.
That's late stage capitalism.
Alright, next question. User.
Because your reviewer personas are so different and everything, when writing the script, Louis, how much input did you have from the others, and how much did you ask for input about the character?
Oh, lots, like Nash said. One of the problems that we had with the original anniversary movies was that we had barely had any input into them. Doug would write up the script, send it out to us, and maybe we'd get an updated version a month or two later, assuming it wasn't 2 weeks ahead of time from filming, like the Boldy Flea was. And so I was dedicated to making sure everyone's character got down as well as could be. One of the things that helped with that, Leslie proposed this idea of, okay, why don't we just ask everybody, how big a part do you want? Do you want to be a main character with lots of lines and a leadership role? Do you want to just be a side character where you're there, you might have some personality things, but you're more just there to be part of the group and just be part of the experience? Or do you just want to do like a brief cameo, or do you want to voice someone else? A few people were only interested in viewing stuff. Holly obviously does not have a character of her own. She's a producer and did behind the scenes stuff, so she was going to play a villain. So some people, like Lotus Prince, it was easier just to write into a side role and have him just be reacting to things without having to worry about larger personality conflicts or referencing things from his own thing. But then there's, say, Nash, which I recall writing for the Top Fourth Wall movie, and I think the description we had of you was like deer in headlights, like completely flabbergasted that any of this is happening.
Y'all are weird.
Send the kettle to the pot.
You're probably positives on your show.
I can mention, I know a lot of people actually wrote a lot of their own lines. Like, for instance, Tony, if you even glance at the script, you can tell he wrote his own lines because they're so him.
Not all of them are his,
No.
but when the script was first finished, I sent it out to everybody and said, hey guys, I'm giving you like a week or two to read over it and give me suggestions for alternate ways of saying it, because you obviously know your characters and your personalities better. Is there a better way of saying something? Is there a joke you want to inject somewhere? And 99% of the time I was okay with it. And Tony was the one who threw in a bunch of Haunted Mansion references.
I think by design you were kind of the antithesis of the anniversary specials before.
It's the nice thing about this and doing the Top Fourth Wall movie was that I had the experience of having done those three and figuring out, okay, how do I do this differently and how do I do it right?
In the when we were actually recording, I sort of realized that Lewis had written Hagen as being okay that the world was destroyed. You know, just being all, and accepting of it, and working to help destroy the world for evil reasons. And I realized that Hagen would not be okay. Hagen wouldn't think that she was going to die with the world. Hagen would be beneath everything else. Hagen has just eternal confidence.
So, yeah, the original script was like, you realize you're going to get killed too? Yeah, I don't care. That's how I wrote it.
So I had it changed to Hagen's confident that she's going to survive because, and then why is she going to survive? I threw in a line from my own show because of the reason, which I've never actually established what the reason is. It's just a get out of jail free card narrative.
And I was given this whole 20-minute long explanation while I was making dinner. I'm like, yeah, but Hagen. I'm like, okay, no, that's grand. Just tell Lewis. No, but see, because I'm like, no, I believe you, right? But then I'm like, no, it's. I just had to take it.
You let me mess around a bit with my character too, which I appreciated because that's one that could have been very set in stone. But I got to throw in a few bits and pieces. You didn't keep in the bit where he says "nani."
I didn't because it felt out of character for him.
It was. I think I screwed something up and I just said "nani." I hope it's in there somewhere. You should demand that. You should demand that from.
It was a proper Fist of the North Fork. "Nani."
I heard
that. Thank you. Oh, I did have to play up you and Luke's performances though.
Yeah.
Because at first when you first did the Luke, it's me, buddy, I'm here. It was a bit more subdued, and I was just like, go over the top. And Luke's reactions, I wanted to just slowly build up, maybe like simmering rage, then to just out and out, I will, rip your head off, kind of rage. All right, next question. Back there.
I know you talked a bit about changing the characters beforehand. I've done audio dramas, but only with like 4 people, so wow. As you were recording and talking through the characters and the lines, did anything change story or character-wise that way?
Primarily it was the Hagen thing. That's immediately one that comes to mind. Just altering her dialogue, just like yeah, I was kind of on, I can't do was it a Northern Irish accent?
Technically it's Northern Irish because I'm Northern Irish, but I don't sound like Northern Irish people.
Yeah, she can't do Northern Irish accent.
Liam Neeson comes from down the road. About 20 minutes from our hometown. I don't sound anything like Liam Neeson accent-wise.
So yeah, that was actually great. Whenever whenever Omega was on, I was doing Hagen's lines and doing a terrible impersonation of Hagen during that.
I want to hear that. I never got to do
It's going to be nothing.
I mean, there's not much I can say.
You sound like Scotty.
No. Give me a second. You put me on the spot here.
Drag queen.
Actually, like if I had the actual lines in front of me, Omega, I can't remember how you described me, like doing the accent.
There was a little bit of Rasa in there. What English accent country can we visit next in the next part of the sentence? But that's okay because we had to redo the lines. So I was like, well, you read Lewis's stuff or the stuff that he would have done just because we didn't have any direction. And so I was like, I get to do my best Lewis impersonation. I'm not gonna swear. Here's my hat.
It wasn't something that changed in the script, but I realized afterwards that Dom and I never had any scenes explaining that we were dating and
Do you
that
know
we were
why?
together. No.
Because you told me to.
Did I?
You told me not to have any scenes of you two together or reference that you were dating other than beyond the sort of
To
thing.
be fair, you started planning this last ConBravo. I remember you giving us some of the scripts, so I completely forgot about that.
I don't know, yeah.
Well, no, I didn't mind. It's just you said something to me
afterwards. I was
afterwards.
like, wow, at no point does my character, when we're in all these life or death situations, being chased by zombies and monsters and ghosts, I think, oh, I hope my girlfriend's okay.
I was that about Paul too.
He's
You're like,
fine.
how come Paul's not concerned about his wife? boys, children.
Dom has a sword. It's fine.
That was another thing. When you guys didn't ask me to, but I remember like a cameo a long time ago. I asked from you or Paul, and I was like, "Is it in universe? Is the Maven of the Eventide married to Paul?" And you're like, "No, they're not. They're completely unconnected people." And you're like, "Oh," and so I just kind of followed along from that.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine. It's just we realized afterwards. It's like, huh.
I'm amazed we got decent audio quality from everybody.
Yeah.
Because what we're doing, all had our own unique setups for recording audio, which we all do very different ways, and we're doing it across voice over IP, and I was like, I'm amazed how much cleanup did you have?
Not as much as you would think. With Erod and Diamante Omegas, I had to do some echo reduction, but that was it. And obviously, with some people, you can tell that they recorded their lines separately as a result of that. But it still was understandable and clear. And Mike J is just confused about what the hell happened to his audio.
Yeah, just made the decision to join the cast via ham radio.
So you all recorded locally though too, right?
Yeah, so they're all
It was entirely over.
It was all over Skype. I recorded a master so that I had
Right.
both for making the job of editing bloopers later easier, but also ensuring that like if something happens to their audio file that they die, I have something I can use.
If we died, you still would have like
Exactly.
posthumously.
Even then, I mean, we all have our own audio rings, and they're not all of the same quality.
No.
We all have different ways of doing it. Mine goes through a compressor and mixing board, so I'm going to have different bass and mid and high levels than everybody else, but it still works.
And having a general echo, or at least sometimes background hums, is incredibly helpful for masking different sources of audio and whatnot.
Yeah, you said stuff to me to Lee, like, hey, does this sound okay? It's like, yeah, no,
Yeah, because it was the first time I'd ever done anything like this. So I asked the audio engineer, okay, does this? I mean, it sounds good to me. Am I completely off base and out of my mind?
I didn't know what to expect, so I was pleasantly surprised to see like, oh no, you're fine. It's good. Yeah, like add one or two things for like sound clarification, but otherwise like you're fine.
There's a lot of playing at the very beginning with Scarsdale and his assistant. Like, how loud should the rain be? How loud should this be? Should there be music or not? That was a question I had of you. There's only music in part one during. See that music right there? There was music only during Scarsdale segment at the very beginning, and I think maybe a little at the very end. But otherwise,
yeah, like during the credits and stuff.
And then we only started bringing music again into it as weirder, more haunting things. Like the otherworldly elements come in with the music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to keep harping on it. I just think the editors don't get enough credit anywhere. So
thank you.
I want to throw in that since it turned out fine, I also was somewhat surprised by the level of quality because I'm used to hearing, especially if it's someone's first, quote unquote, first time putting that much audio together. Usually the music butts into the dialogue hardcore, or everything's in a mid-range, and it was nice that I could actually hear everything. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Also, praise editors more. I say that with extreme bias, but please do.
They do the job that you don't know that they're doing. Basically.
That's quotable.
You only notice the editor when they do a bad job at it.
Exactly.
Also engineers, just to say, in case you're thinking that's a different thing, like people who run all the tech on the back, there's a whole lot that's done, like you said, a lot of work that is done so you don't notice the work was done.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not telling you to try to notice the work, but also assume that it was well done.
All right, next question. Yes, sir.
Yes. So, prior to Voice from the Dark, Welshie transformed into Joel Barrett, and then in The Future's End, he's now apparently your enemy. Did you run into any sort of continuity issues such as that in writing?
He was the one thing he brought up was he realized that I transformed into a woman at the end of my reviews.
Most people do.
And I was like, I'm okay with that. I'm happy to turn that into a joke if you want me to. And he was like, yeah, sure, man. I'd completely forgotten about that when I did his cameo for the Future's End review. And I didn't really make him into an enemy because I just imagined like, well, she doing that ending like monologue of that's it, I'm gonna get my revenge. Like, I'm bored.
It grew back.
I think the only reference in Voice in the Dark to that with Welshie was, I had a line about that.
There were two lines. Originally, Welshie, the way he described his characterization, I'll explain more in a minute, but originally, Welshie and Nella were not originally part of it. Welshie describes I feel I don't know if I would work along with these people because I do a lot of fourth wall breaking things and references to the weirdness of our situation, stuff like that. It's like, yeah, that's fine. So I added in a bunch of fourth wall breaking things. One of which was him talking during his opening scene and introduction. Like, hey, and wait a second, I turned into a woman at the end of my reviews. I'll make you in here. And then Diamanda, because originally it was supposed to be, you were originally talking to Phalis over the phone. And the line was, tell him I liked it better when he did horror reviews. And then it became, tell him I liked it better when he was a woman.
And I did one ad lib which wasn't used, which I can't remember what I did, where I completely changed it again.
Did you want to say something about his nationality?
Probably.
And sheep?
Probably.
So yeah, originally, Obscurus Lupa and Phalis were part of the project, and in fact, they recorded their bits with Bargain Boys Group 2, we went through the entire recording session, but even during it, they were feeling uncomfortable with it, because we were referencing a lot of Channel Awesome related material, and it was bringing up a lot of bad memories for them. It was making them uncomfortable, and so and she had been really pushing me to try to remove specific references to them and referencing them by name and stuff like that, which I was already hesitant about anyway for legal reasons. So the next day, they come to me and say, "Hey, I'm really not comfortable being a part of this. Is it okay if we drop out of it entirely?" And so and of course, I'm not Doug. I'm not an asshole, and if my friends and my actors are uncomfortable with something, that's okay. And I was perfectly happy to let them leave the project. And so I contacted Welshie and Nella. Because originally I didn't contact Welshie because I didn't think he would be interested in doing it because he had stopped doing video work. And Nella was not technically a producer on the site, but associated with the Nostalgia Chick stuff. So I contacted them, and they were. And Welshie, like I said, was reluctant at first, but then the more he read it, the more he got into the idea of it. He loved it. He got into it. Nella was super into it right from the start, and there we are. Oh yeah.
Well, for future things, one of my videos a couple months ago, Salty's Salvation Celebration, I had a veiled parody of Channel Awesome, which was called Network Bodacious, where you got the entire first page, so you got parodies of everyone involved. So you had like the Alpha Nerd, you had Nina Galstra-Hagen, you had Annoyed Jose, I think.
It's a blink and you'll
The Sub was another one. The Sub. It's a little bit in one of my reviews, but for future reference, if we would have referenced them, just call them Network Bodacious.
No. There was originally specific dialogue. It was a recurring gag, and you can notice the remnants of it still there, where people are about to say Channel Awesome, and then like someone interrupts, or Dina says, "Don't say it." During at the end of Linkara's rant in part 4, where he's talking like, "I want everyone to be back together. I want us to be do the anniversaries again," and he was like, and someone else said like, "You mean the days when we were with?" Dina said, "Don't say it." With Channel Awesome. God, why do you keep trying to pretend like we can't say it? What are they going to do? Sue us for saying their name in the middle of a haunted house in the middle of nowhere? Turns out they can actually do that. So especially in light of Allison and Phelan's discomfort with the entire thing, it was and me thinking more and more about like they could potentially sue. I decided it was best just to drop their name entirely.
Was there a final body count in this? Because I know some people didn't make it to the end, like the guys who zombies fight.
Technically, only one person officially died. And that was the sound engineer who also did not transform into a zombie because they ripped him apart.
Oh,
yeah.
Does it count if they were already dead when they came in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were other, and as Hagen pointed out, some of the zombified people were just already corpses to begin with when they were resurrected, so they just collapsed into muck.
I have a question. There was a human working with the villains, a perhaps very benevolent human with very good intentions.
You actually do notice that after he is shot and the voice undoes everything, Dr. Vincent has a line, so he was resurrected.
He did have a line. He said, sound.
Exactly. So whether or not he survived the house is up to debate.
It's really weird. Y'all were throwing. You're all throwing mud at each other and stuff. He's just sitting there like I can't believe this is what ended my beautiful plan. All these strange millennials throwing mud at each other. Oh, they seem to be teleporting. That's weird. I'll go stand next to it.
Set you up with like a voice acting agency. It'll be great.
I would like a review show, please. I'll review medicine.
Is Network Bodacious hiring?
I was like reading the back of a soap bottle.
I'd like to work with the sub. Sounds like a good time. I could make his body better. Harder.
I don't like any possible interpretation of that.
No, the joke is it's a play on like a sandwich, not a
So Dom, when are you going to be doing a crossover with the sub?
Is your name going to be on the top or the bottom? The joke is because the Dom sounds like it would be on the top.
I'd like to repeat, y'all weird.
I'm a mental health professional.
Funny you bring up the lack of body count. In the original outline that Leslie had actually constructed, which we did talk about, and he eventually relented on this point. He wanted a bunch of us to die.
I volunteered to die.
I volunteered to die as well. I was totally down for dying. I volunteered to
Pretty sure most of us were okay with it.
His idea involved because it's a horror story and people usually die in horror stories. His idea was basically that a bunch of reviewers would die over the course of it, and then at the end they'd be replaced with like other dimensional duplicates from like other universes. Yeah, and I was just kind of iffy about that because I have a history of reviewing comics, and the Clone Saga immediately comes to mind, and people get pissed if it's not the real one, so to speak. So yeah, so I was pretty encouraging. Don't do that, man. A lot of people are going to be like, dude, you killed me off. What the hell? We're trying not to be assholes to producers this
I
time
saw
around.
comments throughout the parts in the serialization. People thought people were getting killed.
We were getting chased by zombies.
They're getting chased by zombies, and well, she got stabbed. That's also the thing, because Phalos was originally supposed to get stabbed in the back by Goofy Gary, and a callback to the Phalos is dying thing.
All the time.
And of course, the truth was he never got killed in that. He got protected by instead of Rob the Monkey, it would have been a bootleg proton pack toy that he'd come there to review. So
It'd been funny if you just killed them off and then they just continued their review shows, no explanation.
Golf better.
That's what I would have done. If you
Yeah.
put me off in this, I would just kept doing my show. And then when I asked somebody like, look at you.
What's funny is Phelan has done that before. He died in one of his videos, like a review of like Jacob's Ladder. He dies, like ending shot of the review is just him dead on the floor, just like weird background noises. Next episode, a few weeks later, Phelan's still dead on the ground, and then just immediately pops up. Do you know that Roger Corman made an Atlanta
It's funny though, just because I'm like the way I would have thought, because I remember the conversation that people were like, oh, we should have people die, and I'm like, yes, finally, but I can die, but that would have actually worked out like for me as well, because I'm like, oh yeah, if I can die, that also ties into some stuff that I'm also doing as well on the Bargain Boy review. So
You
it's
should kill
just
us. You should kill us.
I should have killed you all.
I was gonna test you.
I wanted to drive the spaceship. Wouldn't let me.
But this
I
is
wanted to drive it.
This is completely tangential. It's completely tangential, but it is about reviewer death. Years ago, I was supposed to kill Welshie in my show. Literally end the character. Because he'd already retired. And he agreed to this. I wrote the bit. But then he changed his mind at the last minute, so the bit was never recorded. So originally, years ago, he would have been dead. Because, I wanted to show off, remind my audience how evil the character's supposed to be, and that's a good way to do it.
He could have been leading the zombies then.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing here?
That would have been actually kind of hilarious if you hadn't even killed him and he still showed up. Didn't I die? How do I hear here?
Welshie.
I'm dead.
I heard there was a party in the Haunted Mansion.
All right, any other questions? Over there.
Carson, not really a question, but adding to the editors are awesome. I actually I do script editing work for another creator who does audio dramas and stuff, and I showed him this, and I believe his reaction was, I am consumed with jealousy and spiteful hatred.
Good.
Our sound tech actually also listened to it and absolutely loved all the underscoring, and that the audio literally feels like just walking into a goth bar.
Yeah.
I am incredibly lucky because my multi-channel network that I'm part of is Screenwave. And being part of Screenwave gives me access to the vast audio library of Audio Micro. They usually sell sound effects and music. Now, their royalty-free music that they sell is actually kind of annoying versus another one that I use called Music Loops. Because Music Loops, they deliberately do not put their music on YouTube because they want to avoid false flags of music. Not so much Audio Micro. Part 4 in particular, during the big, quick cuts to everyone as the car explains, oh my god, here's how all the elements are connected bit, the original music track for that got claimed by the royalty-free track. It's done there as a security measure to ensure that oh hey, someone didn't just steal the track and then put it on there. But as a result of that, I had episode 4 uploaded a few days early. I did appeal and warned people, here's what you should say, because since I'm part of Screenwave, I get legal access to this stuff to use as much as I want. And after 3 days, they didn't answer, so I just screw it, replace it with another piece of music. And so part 6 also has a piece of music that was claimed, but it's kind of to my advantage, because of course the Time Warp was also claimed. And when 2 different companies are claiming revenue on a video, no one gets money.
We're all poor.
Like 2 bad things.
It's called the copyright deadlock. Jim Sterling invented it.
Thank God for him.
Alright, on the subject of music, one of the things I deliberately set out to do also was, aside from one piano track, which is played when Mars Girl and I are talking and we're collecting bottles for the Molotovs, I deliberately did not want to use any music that I had previously used in any other things. Because I didn't want this to sound like just another Linkara adventure, another atop the fourth wall type thing. I wanted it to have its own unique sound, and thus I had to buy a bunch of whole new music for it as well. And I loved it. I love how it all turned out. I'm kind of sad that I probably won't be reusing that music for my show, because again, I don't want it to be directly associated with just my own thing. Might reuse it if we do any other projects like this in the future.
You paid for it.
I mean, yeah.
Additionally, another of our friends, Ilnej, did some of the piano.
Oh yes.
So.
Was he using the instrument?
And he was.
Yes, Ilnej played both Scarsdale's assistant and the voice of Anderson, because Anderson only had 2 or 3 lines.
Yes.
And he did the instrumental backings for the Time Warp.
Yes.
And if I can't get the legal go-ahead to sell a DVD with the Time Warp on it, I'm gonna commission him to create an original song that we sing instead.
Hooray!
If you want to reuse that music, how about you do an audio drama, sort of like a, I don't know, Doctor Who fan audio or something?
That's an idea.
No, because the script will never be done because of the sheer amount of Doctor Who nitpickers among us. It'll be 2027 and you'll still be arguing how many different people should play the Master.
Actually, the fourth Doctor scarf was 15 meters, not 14.
Yeah, it was different lengths depending on the shot and what Tom Baker was doing.
Do you want me to write it? I only like Red Dwarf, so I
Alright, any final questions? What we got in the last 5 minutes here? Yes, sir.
One of the things I love was, and you brought it up a lot in the show, was the old guard and the new guard. I loved when Karina met David of Eventide and felt like, did anybody else hear that? Or what met her and
Yeah, Kalina meeting them, Marsco meeting Bargain Boy.
Yeah.
I wanted to mix, like you said, old guard and new guard.
Yeah, I actually loved that. It got like, I loved when the gentleman with the beard and the hood.
Sean. Yeah, because Sean was a part of Blistered Thumbs, so he did not have regular contact with a bunch of the rest of us, but he was still a video producer doing content. And was brought over to Channel Awesome when Blistered Thumbs closed its doors.
I really didn't follow this stuff, but I just loved it. I'm like, it's true, all of it. We're in space. It's kind of like that. And you get everybody saying, we really did that. It's kind of like, it was kind of like a Force Awakens thing. It's kind of like, it's kind of like, wait a minute, you're upon still. Yes,
which is
all of it.
Which I love that. I love that comparison. It was not what I was really going for, but at the same time, which is especially funny to me because how Sean asked me to write his character, we brought up Red Dwarf. He said he wanted to be basically the Rimmer of the group. Very snooty, I know more about what's going on here. I don't believe in such superstitious nonsense like aliens and ghosts and things like that. And then at the very end, it's like, what?
It really was a spaceship.
If this is the Force Awakens of video producers, then I shall be being BB-8. Only because BB works for Bargain Boy. And also BB-8 is my spirit.
He's so little and rolly. Hey, can I say something sappy?
Sure.
I want to say something sappy. When we were on a shared aggregator website of some kind, I never really interacted with a lot of people because most people got on there through Blip and etc. Whereas I came on through YouTube and then tried to do stuff and then sort of just receded back to YouTube. So I'm really happy I got to take part in this thing because I've been in contact with people at a distance, but I'm a very live in my bubble with my toy people kind of person. So I appreciate I got to take part in this and take part in the panel and see you guys every ConBravo when I take the bus over.
You can just take a bus over to Mississauga to see me.
I don't know where Mississauga is. I don't think it's real.
I was about to say a few nice things, but I'm not going to take it.
I've never heard of Square One Walmart. The only Walmart in town is at Dufferin Mall. What's Square One? It's not on the TTC line. It's not real.
So many references in it.
This is for any locals in the house. Yeah, that's right. You know what I'm talking about. Square One's too far. Wait. Yes. I live downtown. Where do you all live?
Watertown.
Science Center. Am I the asshole?
Yeah. Y'all have Presto. Y'all have Presto. You can go anywhere.
Okay, listen. I moved downtown in 2013 right before the spike. I am camping out now. If they kick me out of my apartment, whoever goes in pays $700 more a month. They're not getting rid of me. I'm walking distance from Longo's. I can buy President's Choice potato chips.
You're speaking Canadian.
Yeah, listen, I'm right by Sherburne Castle Frank near the 72, goes down to Queensway. You know it. I can get to... Listen, y'all, I'm right by the border between Uptown, Downtown, and Cabbagetown. Y'all are big fans? Cabbagetown. It's a little bit gentrified right now.
All right.
I also just want to say thanks for getting the band back together, Lewis.
No problem.
I want to hear this out loud.
Is Cabbagetown real?
Yes, Cabbagetown is real.
There's a city in Minnesota called Little Canada.
Right now.
Well, anyway, it is 2 o'clock right now. There is a half hour between panels. So we actually have a few posters for A Voice from the Dark for sale here. There's not many left, unfortunately, because people have been buying them throughout the weekend. But I figure if you want to buy them real quick and get us all to sign it, we'll be more than happy to.
Yes.
$10 per
Mega Puffers is great.
$10 per poster, and if just something else you want to have us sign real quick, I figure we can do that too. And I just realized I left all my Sharpies downstairs at my table. God bless it.
We got Sharpie.
I got pens actually.
Down the line.
There are listed 3 of them.
I have like a pen. Regular.
I don't like